You know what the worst thing that can happen to a schlock director is? Getting better. Take Uwe Boll, for example. His first films were embarrassingly bad, filled with stupid dialogue, head-scratching directorial decisions, and cheesy special effects. These were films that were obviously made by either a man who had no idea how to make a movie, or someone who was just plain vanilla crazy. Boll was both.
You created it all so you could be immortal. Why?
But let it be said that Boll is not a man who doesn't learn from his mistakes. If you watch his more recent work, you realize that they are worlds apart from the likes of Blood Rain and Alone in the Dark. And that's kind of a bad thing. His movies no longer hit a unique chord with the viewer. Gone are the kinds of insane decision-making that put him in the spotlight in the first place. And in its place are by-the-numbers, drab, direct-to-DVD flicks that couldn't hold your attention if they were literally holding a knife to your throat. He's still Uwe Boll. He's never going to be a great filmmaker, not with that head on his shoulders. But at least before, there was a sense that what we were watching could never be replicated by another director. He's not good enough to make something legitimately entertaining, but he's no longer bad enough for anyone to care about anymore. He started off memorable and then slowly faded away into a sea of beige and wallpaper paste, which is weirdly enough the opposite trajectory that Obari took. We know him now as the crazy man-child that loves robot fights and giant tits, but before all that, he was a hired gun director for a few Bubblegum Crisis OVAs and character mecha designer. It wouldn't be until 1992 that he would get the chance to direct an original OVA series. And that series was Detonator Orgun, a title that is so unlike Obari's other work, I still have trouble believing he had anything to do with it. It says he directed the series, but where's the proof of that? Where are the embarrassing outfits and impractical armor? Where are the women who have backs like slinkies and chests like pumpkins? In fact, the only thing here that is remotely like Obari's work are the mecha fights, but it still lacks Obari's childlike enthusiasm. In other words, it's just another anime. Which makes it his worst, if you ask me. We start off our story with our hero dreaming that he's a World War I fighter pilot being chased by gunmen. Apparently this dream is so hammy that he's woken up by the overacting alarm. It's weird that this is my first encounter with the overacting alarm. I mean, I've seen every Al Pacino movie.
Because she got a great ass. And you got your head all the way up it.
Okay. I promise I will only use this new gag for good. And the occasional Nick Cage movie. It seems these weird dreams are nothing new to him, as he's been recording them through his Oculus Rift sort of device. Whether or not he tags his dreams is never known.
Yo, Tomru, where have you been, huh? You can't keep skipping out of our Cosmology 3 seminar. We've got a report due in 6 months.
Behold the marvelous future of humanity, where a simple snap of the fingers replaces the arduous, labor-intensive act of closing a closet door. Also, it's a snap of the finger to close a door, turn on your television, open your blinds, and to pretty much operate everything in your apartment. How the hell does this system differentiate the snaps? At least with the clapper, it's only attached to one thing in the room, but with this bullshit hooked up to everything in your house, you couldn't even get through one episode of The Addams Family. Alright, fine. I'm just going to turn the snapper off the TV. Oh, god damn it!
Destruction. The destruction is beginning. The time is now. I can see it. Destruction will rain down upon us all. It approaches as I speak.
It's like if Michelle Bachmann had to moonlight as one of Dionne Warwick's psychic friends. Yes. Destruction and chaos will reign supreme if we succumb to the unrelenting homosexual cabal. Yeah, apparently there's also a psychic who routinely makes doomsday predictions on television in this future. Her presence just baffles me, especially when you consider that her role in the story is purely utilitarian, used only for ham-fisted foreshadowing. She plays a bigger role towards the end, but this doesn't absolve her odd duck presence for the first 2 acts.
Sorry I'm so late. You're up pretty early. What's the deal?
Oh, there's nothing. Really nothing. I mean, not really.
Ah, I see this actor went to the Hugh Grant School of Charming Befuddlement. And yes, this is the same actor who played not Ryu in Battle Arena Toshinden and Gokaiser. Although, count your lucky stars that she doesn't show up. You know who I'm talking about. It's about here that we begin to get a better hold of who our protagonist is. A directionless, jaded hipster.
Dude, you've got some really old-fashioned tastes. Better fix that before you join any companies. In case you didn't know, pal, they want you to look sharp and up-to-date. Hey! Hey, what's up?
It's a Luftwaffe uniform. A 20th century military aviator costume. You just wouldn't understand, would you?
What is there to understand? You dress as a World War I bomber pilot, you constantly bemoan the fact that nobody acquiesces to your narrow-minded worldview, and despite your penchant and affinity for antiques, you reap the benefits of your technologically progressive society. So, run along and smoke your clove cigarettes and complain about the fact that record stores have closed down while you listen to your downloaded Animals as Leaders albums. So, after blowing off his friend, Hipster winds up at the History Museum, where he looks at tanks made from 1944 to 1944, and the Vostok rocket, and Mariner 4. Also, for a history museum, their history sucks. Mariner 4's launch was in 1964, not 1962. Or is that supposed to be 82? Either way, wrong. It's not until about the halfway point of the first episode that we first get the semblance of any kind of plot. A robotic creature, aptly named Orgun, has been making his way to Earth, all the while being dogged by what looks like mechs of his race.
Orgun, such a waste. What? Impossible!
No, that's quite possible. What's impossible is the show pulling this exact same shit 7 other times and expects us not to notice.
Did we get it? Tagged it, but it's still kicking. Did we kill it? Did we kill it?
What?
Ugh!
Bet you that rocked you.
All shots have hit, but Captain, I don't see any less of them.
You be the judge. Creative bankruptcy, useless padding, or both. It seems that Orgun has a connection with Hipster, and that connection may prove to be humanity's greatest and last hope, because Orgun's race has Earth in its sights and intends to reduce it to a pile of rubble. They hear word that Orgun was destroyed during the last encounter, but it turns out that humanity is keeping him on ice, being studied by the wilting flower scientist here and Proto-Max Headroom. So they send out a scout to finish the job and kill all humans in the process.
Investigate falling object approaching Area 32, altitude 170.
Commander! Commander, we're scrambling. Condition orange. Where are you, Commander? That's strange. What's the story? What?
Now it's looking like an Obari anime. This is the Commander. She's the Valkyrie bitch of the anime. I like her.
Commander, 11 o'clock, Mark 4.
Got it.
It's just a meteorite, headed right for the drink.
You dumb shit.
What?
Look at your speed recorder. Want to tell me what kind of meteor slows down?
Technically it's a meteoroid since it's yet to strike the Earth's surface, and all meteoroids slowed down due to friction in the Earth's atmosphere, and I'm doing it again, aren't I? So the mech starts laying waste the kingdoms of man, and nothing seems to faze it, let alone slow it down. All the while, Orgun has reactivated itself and has been calling out to Hipster, and he's more than willing to follow. And it looks like blindly, as he's nearly run over by the wallflower scientist who's trying to find Orgun.
Are you all right?
Huh? Jesus, I can't believe it. A 1962 Jaguar E.
Ah, well that's cool. A Jaguar E-Type. You know, its 50th birthday was marked by a small piece on page 16 of the Daily Telegraph. And I don't think that's right. The E-Type is not some plucky Brit that's happy to come home second. It would... Wait. Didn't I do this before? The day may come when we will have surpassed even the lofty heights that were once reached. But we will not truly know until after the fact. Then and only then, anime can be truly as great as we think it is today. Oh. Yeah, that E-Type sure is something, eh? Huh. Should probably get this. Yes, Mr. Clarkson, I completely agree, and I am truly sorry for all of this. It was just that speech you made was so full of emotion, and yes, Mr. Clarkson, again, I apologize. I won't do it again. You have my word. You have my Scout's honor. Oh, yeah, I drive a Honda Element. No, I don't have a crush on James. No, I am not 65. No, it did not come with a strawberry or cheese. Listen, I have to go, Mr. Clarkson, but believe me when I say that I'm Jesus. That was the most intimidating conversation in the world. With the wallflower in tow, the hipster's dreams prove to be prophetic, as he's led to a rooftop where the scout now has him dead to rights. And it's only by the virtue of the Valkyrie bitch does he continue to draw breath. But even she has trouble putting the guy down. Driven to desperation, the hipster finally calls out for strength, and strength arrives in the form of Orgun. Yeah, it's basically that Orgun and the hipster fuse into one new entity, even though it's never really explained why Orgun chose the hipster to fuse with in the first place. All I know is I could be watching Star Kid right now.
There's a new kid in town. Ow!
Booyah! Did it again! I bet you haven't even thought about that movie in 15 years! Nobody blindsides you like the Sage! Woo! With his newfound metal buddy, the hipster is able to vanquish the scout, and now can piece together who these mecha are and what they are after.
Who are the invaders?
They're called the Evolutor.
The Evil Looter. Evil Looter. Evil Doer. God damn it! What a way to instantly deflate any menace these guys could have had. Evil Looter? Really? Next you're gonna tell me that they're in league with the Were-Denels. So, with Orgun and the hipster now sharing one consciousness, or something along those lines, Orgun's memories become the hipster's, but sifting through all the carnage is straining him.
These must be Orgun's memories. They are his memories.
So, are you saying his memories, which are his memories? Okay, this dub sucks and there's no getting around it, but what's frustrating is that it refuses to reach so bad it's good territory. It just keeps scraping the layer of unacceptability, but lacks the balls to actually break through. So we're just left sitting through canned performances left and right, and it offers nothing in return. I mean, is it so much to ask for one of these actors to intentionally bury their career? In any case, the rest of the Evil Looter hear of Orgun's reawakening, so they decide to take the Rita Repulsa route and send another pair of Evil Looters after him. And it cannot come at a worse time, as the hipster has got a bug up his butt about not fighting.
Have some food. They say you haven't been eating well.
surprise for you, Professor? You just want to suck some more stuff out of my head, right? Huh? Is that right, Professor?
You think I don't watch television? Wake up!
Well, I've had enough, okay? I don't want to know any more about it, understand? You got me feeling like a crazy person.
Shall I stop him?
Jesus, man, what the fuck are you doing? Pulling your gun on him? For all you know, he had Indian for lunch and he's about 3 steps away from making lamb vindaloo in his pants. For Christ's sake, Mom's robot guards were less itchy to shoot.
Someone said shoot!
Since the hipster is being uncooperative, the government is left with few options and are beginning to consider mass-producing evolutor-like suits.
This isn't based on any previously received data, rather on a reconstruction. Please observe. The outer armor is super-hardened Ovarium 808.
Ovarium 808. Well, judging by the atomic number, it would be an actinoid metal, but why would you construct a suit made out of a metal that's... Oh, wait, were you bullshitting? The story tries to take a short-sighted, power-hungry military turn by having the Defense Force insist on creating these suits, but it never makes good on its setup. The leader here plots and talks about building these suits at any cost, and the show hangs a foreboding shadow over the scene. But by show's end, it never adds up to anything. Like, imagine if in Avatar, the corrupt businessman does his whole "we need to get unobtainium at any cost" spiel, but the movie ends with him establishing trade agreements with the Na'vi, and the Na'vi become a major player in the intergalactic economy. Bottom line, if you're gonna have a corrupt military leader, use him! It seems that the hipster is not the only one with dreams of the evolutor. God, fuck me, that's a stupid name. As the wallflower is greeted by a female of the species, telling her that she too feels like they left something back on Earth, implying that they've been here before. The whole scene is unsettling and wonderfully atmospheric. But then... God, didn't think it would be so easy to break cinematic tension, but apparently it's just a snap of the fingers. The hipster better snap out of his Shinji-dom fast because the evolutor are back and ready to make some noise. And the local authorities sound like they couldn't care less.
Shelter number 9 is this way, people. Hurry, hurry, please hurry this way.
Come on, people. Leave the charred remains of your loved ones where they lie and follow in an orderly fashion. There will be plenty of time to have a life-shattering crisis at City Hall. We have macaroons. Try as he might, the hipster is unable to steer himself away from the calling of Orgun, finally accepting it when he realizes that people need his help. If only the other 5,000 Shinji clones were so quick on the uptake. Even with Orgun's power, the hipster is still unable to finish off the new evolutor, but the female swoops in and sacrifices herself to save Orgun and the city, finally realizing what Orgun was trying to protect here on Earth. And get ready for this one, folks. They're protecting their home. That's right, the evolutor are really humans that were sent on a rocket ship 200 years ago that never came back, because they got caught in a gravitational flux that somehow changed their path of evolution and physiology to allow them to survive in the vacuum of space, and that all of this happened in the span of 2 centuries, even though the evolutor said they were traveling along for thousands of years. I don't need to crack open the origin of species to tell you that that may be the dumbest pile of horseshit pseudoscience I have ever heard. What the fuck was wrong with them being robots? I mean, yeah, it makes the thematic element of humanity losing their humanity as technology progresses more weighty, but at the cost of the audience's intelligence? That price is way too steep. For fuck's sake, when you were making creationist museums sound plausible and scientifically accurate, stop writing! And that's not even touching the boneheaded plot point that apparently the evolutor are reflections of the main characters. Yeah, apparently these mechs, that were once people by the way, are somehow linked to key characters here on Earth. Hipster has Orgun, the Wallflower had that female evolutor, and the psychic girl on TV has the leader of the evolutor themselves. What is this even supposed to be? Jungian synchronicity? Not only does this doppelganger element not make a lick of sense, it doesn't even fit the story's theme or narrative. It's just another idea thrown onto the pile that the anime does nothing with. At least with Obari's other schlock, you can get a cheap laugh from the ridiculousness on display, but this is just tedious. Speaking of tedious, the evil looter decides to not fuck around with the scouts anymore and make their way to Earth with their battle planet. Choose your reference, people! Death Star or Unicron? All the while, their military leader Zoa, and how I wish I could make that reference and have more than 12 people get it, is taunting the hipster and preventing him from giving up the goods on how to make their own evil looter.
Orgun. 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 Think back to your life of battle, to the glory of destruction. Orgun, it's not too late. Come back to us and be a hero of the coming battle. Come back as our vanguard of destruction.
Orgun. Don't make me have to say your name again, Orgun. Or I might get really mad, Orgun. And you wouldn't like that, Orgun. Orgun.
I've been glossing over this aspect too since it's only a minor annoyance, but the dub has this weird fascination of saying Orgun's name like it was a verbal comma. Not sure if this is the same way in the original Japanese, but at least this way I don't chance hearing Orgun desu.
Yes, I sense it now. The wheel of destruction, the instincts of the Evoluder. You are the very essence of the Evoluder hero. What? Let the anger build, the hate grow. The wheel of destruction is the true heart of our people. You are a true hero, a detonator.
Strike me down with all your hatred, Orgun, and your journey to the evil looter will be complete.
The Wallflower manages to break the hipster from Zoa's spell and together extract the data necessary to build their own armor units, and spend the next 3 months building them, which is exactly how long the Death Unicron will take to get to Earth from Pluto. What? They're an advanced robotic race. I could totally buy that they could travel at 1/310th the speed of light. Meanwhile, the Psychic Girl manages to contact the Evil Looter in an attempt to halt their attacks, and while her words seem to reach the Evil Looter version of the Psychic Girl, Zoa ain't having none of that shit, and presses forward. Well, 3 months zip by in an instant, and the final battle commences. And, not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a bunch of ships and mechs duking it out in space with tons of lasers, missiles, and hand-to-hand combat. There's homages / rip-offs of everything that made this genre awesome. Macross, Star Wars, Gundam, all that good stuff. This is where the series finally feels like something legitimately worth watching. And it's all animated very well. It's a credit to Obari and his affinity for mecha. Too bad it had to wait until the final scene of the last installment to actually get good. Heck, it's so good that I can even forgive the fact that the show pulled a bullshit move and has the Psychic Girl literally will the sun into orbit so that the hipster can have the power to deflect the planet-destroying blast of the Death Unicron. Or maybe I'm just jaded after seeing Plastic Little's final fight. Suddenly, a Psychic Girl literally pulling the sun out of orbit so it could power a robot to deflect a planet-destroying beam seems downright plausible. With the force repelled and the day saved, the hipster reunites with the Wallflower, and the evil looter set off for parts unknown, having now been reminded of their human compassion that they lost so long ago. And that was Orgun. Huh. This was weird. It's not good, no matter how you slice it. Its ideas are underutilized, its dub is horrendous, its own internal mythology makes no sense, but technically speaking, it's leagues above Obari's other works. There are moments where the anime does have its act together, and when they occur, it makes a case for itself as an underappreciated gem, especially when it comes to its battle scenes and soundtrack, composed by the incomparable Susumu Hirasawa. But it's just not good enough to be a legit anime, and it's not bad enough to be entertaining. It's a middle-of-the-road title, and for someone like Obari, that's the death knell. Shame. Well, we close out Obari month next week, but I will not be joining you all. I have some vacation time, and I intend to use it. Which means, yes, he's back. Till next time.